करके, ओके? यस, तो मैम ने क्या बोला सब ठीक है, मैं बताती हूँ, सबको म्यूट कर दीजिए पहले, म्यूट म्यूट, ओके? सो बेसिकली मैम ने ये बोला हमें अच्छा फोटोज क्यों चाहिए, क्योंकि कोई भी इंजीनियर जब घर बनाने जाता है तो वो दिखाता है ना अपना प्लान। म्यूट एवरीबॉडी प्लीज, म्यूट योरसेल्व्स, या सो जब भी कोई इंजीनियर घर बनाने जाते हैं तो वो अपना ब्लूप्रिंट लेके जाता है ना कि ऐसे ऐसे करके, आप बस बोल नहीं सकते कि यहाँ ये बना दूंगा, यहाँ ये बना दूंगा, राइट? तो वैसे ही आपके क्लाइंट्स को दिखाने के लिए आपको अच्छी फोटोज लेनी आनी चाहिए, राइट? तो इसीलिए हमने ये आज की सेशन रखी, ताकि आपको सैंपल्स, आपकी पोर्टफोलियो पिक्चर्स अच्छी हो, आप अच्छी अच्छी फोटोज लो अपने क्लाइंट्स की और खुद के मेकअप करते हुए वीडियोस भी, ताकि आपके पास भी सैंपल्स रहे अपने क्लाइंट्स को दिखाने के लिए। Okay? Yeah.
Okay, fine. So there are certain basic things which you should know before we just start clicking pictures. Taking a photo is not just taking your phone, keeping it, and then starting to click pictures. You should know some more things along with it, right? So we're going to be looking at that part of it right now. And we're going to like have a couple of basic things before we get into the much more detailed part of photography. Fine. So first we will start with something called as an aspect ratio. So what is aspect ratio? So, yeah. Okay. So first thing is, can you hear me? Okay. So what is a picture? Let's first talk about what is a picture, right? So you have a picture, and when you see a picture, imagine it like a mosquito net. So you have mosquito net, all of us have mosquito nets in the house. So inside the mosquito net, there are small square boxes, and all those boxes put together is the big mosquito net, right? So you take a photo and you imagine small boxes kept next to each other, kind of like, it looks like a grid when one and one and everything is kept next to each other. It looks like as if stones are kept one upon each other like a big wall. That is how your picture actually is. Now, the thing is, each and every single stone is called as a pixel. Fine. More the number of pixels, the more the number of data is there in a picture, and the more clear your picture will look. We have all experienced sometimes our photos look blurry, it does not look sharp. So whenever your photo is looking blurry, it's most likely because the pixel value is very less in that picture. Fine. Because of that, resolution becomes a much more important factor. So more number of pixels horizontally and more number of pixels vertically will give you better resolution. Better resolution will also help you to have better pictures. Your pictures will look more professional looking, and they'll also have very good details. When you see eyeshadow, every single strand in that lash will be seen. When you see, let's say there's glitter, no, every single dot, every single speck of glitter will be seen on the eye. So it's a lot more clear, it's a lot more precise looking, and it looks a lot more professional at the same time. So that is basically why resolution is important. Most common resolution which all of our mobile phones have nowadays is 1080, which is called as HD. HD is high definition, right? So whenever we buy a TV, we tell the person in the shop, no, we want HD, we want HD movie, we want HD TV and all that. So that is basically what your HD is. And even your phones are right now, all the phones which are coming out, you can click pictures in HD. So when you see the difference between these two pictures, this looks more blurry. It's not sharp. Look at this line in A over here. It's not looking sharp at all. That is mainly because the resolution is low in this picture and it is higher in the second picture. Okay. In every phone, we all have this back camera, right? Back camera has higher resolution. Front camera has less resolution. So back camera, you can click much more sharp looking pictures. It will look so much more professional compared to the front camera. That is basically what resolution is. Fine. Now you understood that you have to take good quality pictures. That is the first factor. Use only back camera. Use this back camera. Don't use front camera. Front camera, most of the times it is not clear. Back camera is always very clear. Fine. So always click your bridal pictures with the back camera. Now, after that, is this enough to get a very good quality picture, right? So let's just take a look at this feed over here. So we all use Instagram, we use YouTube, we use WhatsApp, we use everything nowadays. Haven't you seen this happening on Instagram? When you put a picture, one bar will come in the top, one empty bar up and down will come. Or sometimes it will come in the left and right. It could be white, it could be black. You'll get one thin bit of line. So the photo is not fitting the frame properly. It is something like, I have a tiffin box which is round, and if I try to keep bread inside that, will it fit? your round and the square will not be able to align with each other. So what is going wrong? The dimensions. So if you're able to see me fully right now, it's because I'm fitting in the frame. If I come over here and sit, or if I go over here and sit, you can't see me clearly. So it is important that you take care of the aspect ratio every time you upload a picture or you put it on the Vah Vah business portfolio. So what happens in the portfolio? You keep putting pictures, right? One day you'll put long picture, one day you'll put horizontal picture, one day you'll put square picture. So each day, if you keep putting different pictures, what is going to happen is the portfolio, either the images will stretch, or what something else can happen is that it's going to crop by itself. It will make it only this much. So your face will be all the way here, whereas it should actually look like this. So you want the frame to look like this, but your face will come over here. So it does not look good. No, it does not look very good when you see the overall feed. So aspect ratio is important for avoiding this kind of a mistake. Fine. So we look at this over here and let's see what is this aspect ratio. It is just like I have an object, I have a rectangular object or I have a square object, length into breadth. Sorry, length into the height. That is basically your aspect ratio. Okay. So when you see this one over here, so let's say that I have a landscape one. So I have something which is a lot more longer, kind of like YouTube videos, movies which we watch, that is called as 16:9. You can screenshot this piece over here. It will be helpful for you when you're taking photos. So whenever you want to take landscape, keep your phone like this. So take photo like this. Okay. Then after that, square, you can take like this or you can take like this. I can make a square like this, or even if it is, vertical also, I can take the middle part of it to make a square. And then you have this 4:5, which is used mainly on Instagram. It is not used on your portfolios. It is mainly used in Instagram. And so is 2:3. And then you have 16:9, which is vertical. So if I hold my phone like this, and if I take a video of you, that will become a vertical format. All of you, whenever you're coming to the class with your mobile phone, you see that happening on Zoom, right? Zoom screen will be this much. Your face will only come in the middle. So what is going wrong? Aspect ratio. So side will full look gray color, only middle, you will be seen in the middle. So as a teacher, I can't see you properly, right? So you're like one small bit inside the small tiny area. So I can't see you properly. So if you tilt the camera and if you keep it horizontally, I can see you much more closer and I can see you a lot better. That is why aspect ratios are also important. Fine. So this you will use for Instagram. Whenever you're taking reels, you have these reels, no? We keep seeing on the phone all the time. So that will be vertical. You will look at it vertical like this. Fine. Remaining everything is all this horizontal ones, like how you're seeing me right now. It's like YouTube videos, like movies, all these things is in this format. Now so once you do this, every single time, whenever you take a picture, think, okay, is this picture for Instagram? Is this picture for the business app? Is this just for putting portfolio pictures of a WhatsApp and all that? So once you think of it, think, okay, if it's for Instagram, if it's for a vertical application, I should take a picture which is vertical. If you want a picture for maybe your business profile, make sure it is a square. So think, and then you have to choose. So before you click, you should think all these things. You should not just click. Fine. So after this, we'll go to the next part of it, which is lighting. Now, what is lighting and why is it important? Very simple example. I'll just turn off my light right now. Okay, so what is happening? I am dark and my background is looking light, right? So I have such good makeup on right now. Can you see my makeup? Can you see what colors are on my eyes? Can you see what's my lipstick? Can you see my contour? No, you can't see any of those things. But the moment I turn on my light, you can see a lot more details. And what is the first thing you're looking at right now? My face. Before, what were you looking at? The background. So the place where the light is falling is what you are seeing first. Correct? So you have my entire face. You're mostly looking at this part of my face. You're not looking at some acne over here because this is all contoured. So what is happening? Dark, the areas wherever making it darker on the face is going back. The places wherever something lighter is coming front. When you see the shimmer of my eyes, you're looking at that first. So light attracts attention. So if your client, suppose you have a bride who wants to get her makeup done by you. When you show your pictures to her, you don't want her to look at the background. You want her to look at the makeup. You want her to look at the skin, her eyes, her lipstick, the way you have done the entire work, the jewelry, the dress, everything, the hairstyling and all that. So it is important that there is good lighting with your pictures. Okay. Most common mistake of lighting is that the light is not opposite to you. Fine. So let's start very simple. Now, where can we get the most simplest light if you don't want to use artificial light? What is the best source of light which we all have? Sunlight. So do your makeup in the morning, do your clients most likely in the morning, any bridal shoot, anything, it's mostly morning time. So once you finish it, sunlight. Either you go outside of your house, go somewhere near your compound wall where it is a clean background at the back, and you just stand. When you're standing, the light should be opposite to you. The sun should be opposite to you, not behind you. If the sun is behind you, then the background will look very light and your face will look dark, like what just happened when I switched off my light. So you saw that the background was looking bright and I was not even seen at that point of time. So light should be opposite to you and not behind you. That is the first rule which you should do every time you take a picture in the sunlight. If you don't want to go outside, window. We all have windows in the house. From the window, sunlight will come at least at some part of the day. And that time you can click really good pictures. Okay. There is something called as the golden hour. Now, what is this golden hour? So it's a very common term which we use in photography. And why is this so important? So imagine 12 o'clock sun, like noon, like just after lunch, no? That time when you see the sun, it is exactly up. So when the sun is exactly up, all this part will look bright, but your under eyes will look dark. Areas like your jaw, everything will look dark because the light is just above your head. Now, towards the evening, around 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock, 7 o'clock, that time of it, the sun will start to move. The sun will become down. It will start coming down, right? The sun will start coming down. When the sun is coming down, and if you stand over here and the sunlight is falling on you, your skin will look a lot more smoother, a lot more kind of, it has this very radiant golden kind of an effect because of the sunlight. And that is why it's called as the golden hour. So it's perfect to click pictures at that point of time because you get really good pictures without any artificial lighting. Fine. So let's say you live in a place where, let's say you're living in an apartment and you are like, there is no window, there is no sunlight, there is no light, nothing is coming into my house. So if that is the case, one more best option is just using a tube light. So we all have tube lights in our house, we have bulbs, we have some form of lighting in the house. So just with what you're having, think first, where exactly is the light? So light should not be behind you. So for me, if I want to take a picture, my light is on this wall over here. So if the light is over here, where should I stand? Opposite. I should stand on the wall over there. So I will stand over here and the light will fall on me and I will get really good pictures. Okay, that is the first rule which you should be following. And even beyond that, if you're really thinking of professional lighting, which in my opinion, I think you should think of it. You should think of getting some form of lighting because you're all doing bridal clients. So whenever you go and do a bridal client, you don't know how the lighting the client will give. Some clients will give you very nice lights, like the room will have a lot of lighting. Sometimes it will be one dark room. So you yourself can't see. Right? So it is much more easier if you have one additional ring light. Just get a small 12-inch ring light. You can keep it in your bag and you can carry it around and you can always put it that way. You can see what you're doing on the client properly. If the skin is smooth, if the skin is having a lot of texture without any shadows, whether there's grayness, everything you can easily find out if you also carry an additional ring light. I'll show you pictures of a ring light. So that is basically what is helpful at that point of time. If you have a ring light, keep it opposite to you. Don't keep it very close to you. If you keep it very close, your face will have too much light. It's like way too much light and you look very white. No colors will be seen and you look very, very kind of pale. So keep the light at a little bit of a distance and then that time you'll get really good pictures. Okay, so this is the most easiest form of lighting which is helpful for you to just get started. Whenever you take videos of your clients, whenever you take photos of your clients, keep a ring light opposite to the client and take really good pictures. So all the pictures, whatever you take, everything will have even lighting. One client will not look dull, one client will not look bright, one client will not look gray, and one client will not look yellow. So when you have one source of lighting, all the pictures will also look very similar. Okay. Next, after that, this is called as 3-point lighting. It's a very advanced way of doing lighting. But if you are thinking in the future of probably creating content, or let's say you want to click really good pictures, this is an option. So there are 3 lights which are used in this, the 3-point lighting. So if I'm sitting over here at this angle of me, 45 degrees angle over here, I'll keep one light. This light will be very, very strong, and that is called as a key light because it's very strong kind of light. So when that light falls on me, this side will fully become dark. So imagine there is no light over here. You're seeing a shadow on my face, right? So here it's fully bright and this side is fully dark on my face. You see a lot of movies like that where they show a hero or the heroine, one side no light will be there and one side full light will be there. So we see this very often in movies, but we don't want this in makeup. Why? Because you want the makeup to overall look very good. The target is the face. You want the full face to look really good. So after the light falls on this side, what you can do is you keep one more light over here to balance it out. It's kind of like there is too much of spice in the food. So you start putting more of sweet to balance it. You want to give it that proper balance. It should not be too spicy. It should not be too sweet. You're giving it that balance. So you'll keep two lights in this angle. So one here and one over here. Fine. So this side of your face, one light will take care. This side of the face, this first light will also take care. Fine. Now, what is this third object here called as a backlight? And why is it called as a backlight? So right now, when you see me, how far do you think the wall is from me? Doesn't the wall look like it is just little bit away from me? Like it looks like as if I'm leaning on the wall and sitting right now on the camera, but I can't touch the wall. I can't touch my wall at all. The wall is, I think around maybe 3 feet from my hand. So I can't touch the wall at all. Why is this happening? Why is it you're not able to see that wall is so far? If you're there in real life, you will be able to see that, okay, Sonika is not sitting near the wall. She's sitting very far away from the wall. So what is creating this? Is because there is no light separating me and the wall. Both look like it is like this. So you want to bring one back and you want to bring one front. When you want to do that, there should be a light which is falling on my shoulder, maybe the edges of my hair and all that. That way you will know, okay, she's little front, wall is little back. So that's the reason why we use something called as backlight. It will help you to kind of split the person and then the background. Okay. Next, after that, we will talk about something called as clicking pictures. Now, what is clicking pictures and really why is this so important? I mean, I'm pretty sure all of your teachers on a day-to-day basis for after 1 or 2, they'll keep telling you, please take good pictures, please take good pictures, take good pictures, clean background, clear it should be, take picture, put nice dress, wear some jewelry, take photo, do nice makeup, it will help you for your portfolio, correct? Teachers keep telling you that constantly. So why is it that you are finding it so hard to click good pictures is what we're going to talk about at this point of time, right? So first thing I told you, when you take picture in the front camera, it won't look very sharp and back camera will look very, very sharp. So first thing is taking picture in the back camera. But back camera doesn't have screen, no? We can't see our face over here. So we don't know whether our hand is like this or like this or like this. So we can't see what is over here. So how can you take pictures by yourself? I tell all my students, call your sister or your brother and tell them to click your photos. But maybe nobody is there at the house when you're doing class. So how can you click pictures? So there are certain ways that you can handle it. That is that you click pictures by yourself when you're using the back camera. Right? So the first thing is you have to start by cleaning your camera. We all keep touching our phones so often. We get makeup. We sit with the phone and there's makeup all the way around us. So the phone cameras and all can get little blurry. So just take one small cloth and wipe those cameras. That way the camera will become clean. Right? Second thing is there is something called as a timer. Okay, now what is timer? It won't click. Now, if I'm taking a photo of you, it won't immediately click. It will wait like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 seconds. And then it will click your photos. So in that 5 seconds, you can move. So I can keep my phone somewhere and I can click on the camera shutter button and I can run back and I can stand and I can smile. So by the time I come over here, 5 seconds will get over and then it will take my photo. So I'll get a proper clear photo and my hand won't come in the middle. If I'm trying to take a selfie, my hand will come like this. So we all have portfolio pictures with our hand over here, hand like this, hand like this. Correct? So we all get this hand thing happening very often with our pictures. So when you talk about professional photography, you don't want that to happen. You want a little good distance with all the pictures. So that is the reason why it's better to not use selfies. Rather, you have to keep it as a timer mode. So you keep your phone somewhere and that way it's much more easier for you to click a picture. Fine. Now comes the question, where can I keep my phone? So we all don't have tripods in the house. So tripod is what? It's like one stand to keep your phone up on top of it. But now we don't have tripod in the house. So what can we do? Best example is, that's what I used to do. So I used to take a table. I'll keep a table. I'll take all of my books, all big books in your house, take it and keep one book up on one book up on one book. So you'll get the height. Fine. Now, after you get the height, you can keep the phone on the top. Ma'am, phone will not stand on the top. So how can you make your phone stand on the top? You can use a setup like this. Take any glasses, anybody's glasses which is in your house, keep that glass and keep the phone on top of the glass like this. So that way you can take a picture a lot more easily. So the phone will stand on the glass will be kept upon all the books, and the books are on top of a table. So table, books, glasses, keep the phone on top of it. Fine. Then you click on timer mode, you go back to the wall and you stand and you smile, you pose. Take around 10 to 20 pictures like that. You'll get around 2 to 3 pictures, which looks very nice. Okay, that is the best way to click very good pictures at home without spending any money, just with whatever you're having in the house. Okay, next, after that, what else can you do? Let's say that you don't want to use glasses. You want it to move. You want the phone to move up, down, and all that, and you still want to take a selfie. So what you can do is you flip the camera like this. So instead of taking selfie like this, flip the phone like this. Now, after you flip the phone like this, we all have volume buttons in our phone, right? So the upper volume button will mostly take a picture in all the Android phones and most of the Apple phones nowadays. So advanced phones, or maybe like after around 2015, no, all the phones, you can click on this top button, volume button is there, no, up and down volume button. Click on the top volume button, it will click a picture. So you will turn the phone like this and you will want to take a photo. Right. Now, let's say I want to do that and I'm switching on my camera. Correct. So I don't know. I can't see whether my face is in the frame. Can you see? I think you can all see. So is it too low? Is it too high? Am I in the frame or am I not in the frame? I don't know. I can't see because the screen is over here. So what should I do? So I can keep a mirror in front of me. So I'll keep a mirror over here. We all have cupboards in the house. So in the cupboard, there will be a mirror, right? So keep your phone like this in front of the cupboard, and then you can slowly angle it, and then you can see how it looks. And then you can basically just click a picture. So you'll know the height and everything at that point of time. And then you can click a picture easily. So you'll keep seeing the mirror and you will see the phone's screen on the mirror. And that way you can click a good picture. Fine. Next, after that, let's say you want to keep your phone somewhere, like you're keeping it on this glass and you're not able to reach. You don't want to do timer because by the time you run and come, it is clicking, or let's say timer is not there in your phone. What else can you do? We all have earphones. We all have earphones with us. The earphones, put the earphone into the phone and keep it on top of this glass like this. Fine. Then after that, the earphone will have volume button, plus minus volume button. So hold the earphone in your hand and keep the hand down. Don't hold it like this up in the air. So keep it down and then press the plus button in that one. And whenever you press the plus volume plus button, it will take a photo. So it's kind of like remote control for the phone without touching the phone. It's like how we use TVs. You can use your phone in a remote way by using that earphones. Okay, use the earphones which comes with the brand whichever you bought it from. That way it'll like 100% work. Okay, so those are the couple of ways. Can you see here? Like she's having a earphone over here. She's having this earphone which is connected here, and she's holding that button in her hand, and then she can click a picture. So hand will not come like this. Hand will be down itself. You're just holding that earphone down and you can click a picture. Right? This is the way you will take these pictures. Like, let's say you want to do, you want to take a selfie, but you want to use the back camera and you can't see yourself. So have a big mirror in front of you. Hold it like this, like how I'm holding like this. And then you can click a picture basically. So you will see, and then you'll be able to click a lot more better. And this is how your timer symbols will look. Most likely it look like a clock, or it will say timer itself. So it look like a clock or a timer. So go to that one. You can set time, 2 seconds, 3 seconds, 4 seconds, 10 seconds, how many you want. And you can just keep clicking pictures continuously that way. Okay. Next, so angles. So let's talk about angles before I show you slides. So again, phone example. I'm sitting like this. Does this look good? Does this angle look good? Like this. Do you think this angle looks good? Can you even see me? So, okay, imagine this angle. Do you think this angle is looking nice? Or like this? Angles like this, or maybe an angle like this. So something is going wrong. I don't look like the way I'm looking on the screen. So why? We all feel that, no? We finished the makeup looks very beautiful. You see in the mirror, you're like, wow, I look so nice. I did such a nice makeup look. And then you take a photo and you're like, this photo does not look nice. And you're like, why is the photo not looking nice? Again, you click one picture. Again, you click a picture. And how many pictures you click, you just feel like it does not look good at all. So something is happening, and that is the reason why it is not looking good. So mainly what is going wrong is angles. right? Any person, if you take a model, you take anyone who really likes to take, have you seen some people, they just look naturally very good in pictures. Like when you see my father, he looks very good in all the pictures. You see me, I look bad in all the pictures. So it's just that he has a very photogenic face. He just knows how to turn correctly. With cameras, he knows how to correctly turn and he will look good. I'll stand like this only and my photos will look really bad because of it. So what exactly is going wrong? The way you have to move. Every single model, anyone in the movie industry, everyone knows how to do this trick, and that is just to play around with the way the camera is and the way you are standing. That's it, right? Basic rule. I'll just show you right now when I'm sitting opposite to you. Fine. So if I'm coming close to the camera like this, what is looking big? Is my mouth looking big? Is my, I don't know, is my neck looking big? What is looking big? My eyebrows are looking big. My eyes are looking big, and then my forehead is looking big. Same thing if I'm doing this. What is looking big? My double chin is looking big, and my lips are looking big, and my jaw is looking very big, right? So imagine, like, we all have a certain face shape. So let's say someone has a inverted triangle face shape like this, like Deepika Padukone, inverted triangle. Jaw is very thin, forehead is very broad, right? So if that is the face shape, she will look better if she puts her chin out, because forehead will go slightly back. So when the forehead goes back, automatically the face will look a little more structured. Same thing, let's say that you get a client who has very beautiful eyes, beautiful eye makeup. Take a picture where the model is slightly leaning front. So the eyes are the first thing which you will see and it will be in focus. Someone has beautiful lips, a very nice jawline, very smooth jawline and smooth skin. Probably they're wearing a very nice choker or anything like that. Make them pull their chin out a little bit. So you'll see the lips are looking very beautiful and also the jaw and everything will also look strong. So what are you learning from this? The area, the part of the body which comes closest to the camera is looking very kind of highlighted. Fine. So the place which you're keeping front is going to look highlighted. Now, if you're having a model and if you're taking a full length picture, like you're getting a client, she's wearing a saree, probably you're doing saree draping. You're taking a picture of your client who's wearing a saree. If you feel like, suppose if her blouse is not looking very nice, and you don't want the blouse to be seen, make sure that her hand is not front. If her hand is front, then the blouse is definitely going to be seen a lot more stronger. So what you want to highlight should come front. You did very good eye makeup. Bring the model's face front tilted, like let her tilt her face forward. You did a very good lip makeup or very good jaw contour, anything. Bring the chin front. That's it, right? Next, after that. This is called as front profile, where I'm sitting opposite you. Camera is exactly here in the center, like in the middle of my face. And like I'm keeping my camera a little above my, like over here. So my camera is over here, right? So it is coming over here. So directly opposite to the camera is my forehead. Fine. When you do a picture like this, what happens is automatically all these areas of the face will look a lot more smaller. For example, your client can have a double chin. So when the cameras go up over here at this angle, it's going to look a lot more better. Like the double chin will not basically be seen in the makeup. Now, let's say I am moving in a way that you sit like this. So when you sit like this, what is seen a lot? The double chin. So you will feel like the double chin looks a lot more heavy if your camera is at a low angle. So whenever you click a bridal picture, make sure that you see first whether your client has a double chin or not. And if they don't, you can always keep it a little more low. And if they do, go a little higher. So instead of keeping it at this angle down over here and taking a photo, take it up, up. And that way you will get a little better picture. The camera should be like around, like parallel to the forehead. And that way you'll get a little more better picture and the angle will look a little better that way. Fine. Even the eye makeup will look a little more kind of attractive. It looks a lot more solid. It's more emphasized that way. Okay. Next, this is straight. Just sitting straight or standing straight kind of a bride. You can do this. Right? Let's say you're a little more adventurous. So we all have our good sides. Like if you see me, I think this is my better side. My right side is my better side. My left side, I feel it just looks awkward. So I just don't seem to work very well on this side. So we all have a certain side which we like to turn towards when we take good pictures, right? So find what works for you. Sit one day, take your phone, take left, take right, take down, take up. See what looks good on your face. and that will be your best angle. You'll always feel like, yeah, whenever I take photo in this angle, no, it just comes out very well for me. So almost all of your pictures you can take in this angle. Center will almost all the time work out if the camera is little higher. So somewhere at this angle, like this, your cameras will always work out. And if you keep your client to close their eyes, you'll see a very good eye makeup in the pictures. So that is an option which will always work out. And then you can always take side. What does side help for showing the contour, the blush, the highlighter, a wing liner, all those things. It looks very, very elegant when you take from the side. So a side picture where, a client is looking downwards and all that will give you good focus on the side makeup, whatever the contouring, everything is. Always with pictures, take those two. Take one which is front and take one which is side. That way you get both the angles. So front means you can see both the eyes, you can see the lips properly, you can see the symmetry of the face. When you take side, you'll see that structure, that contouring, the jaw contour, the highlighter, the blush application, the strobing, everything will look very beautiful on the camera. Okay, that is the most basic part of photography, to understand what is your angle, what angle looks good on you. And once you figure out what angle looks good on you, you can try options like this. You can get a selfie stick on Amazon. It's like the best option if you don't want to do all this, keeping that, you don't want to do sunglass trick and all that. You can always just get a selfie stick, and it will just help you to give you that length without your hand showing through also. So you can just keep your hand straight like this, just hold your elbow out like this, and you can have a selfie stick out. So it will give you that length. So your photos will not be like this. So you'll have a good length, a good distance, where even your necklace, your saree, everything will also be seen in the picture, your hairstyling, everything, right? And then after that, this is what I told you. The angle should be higher. The camera is over here on the phone, and that is high. It is almost at the forehead height. So you take at the forehead height, none of the double chin, nothing will show through. It just looks overall a lot more pleasing, and the light will evenly fall. A lot of times in life, no, we don't have lights opposite. We have lights only in the top, like sunlight is from the top, tube light is from the top. So if I'm sitting like this, and if the light is from the top, my lashes shadow will fall here. We've all got that shadow on our photos, like one line, and ma'am will ask you, is this dark circle? And you'll be like, no, ma'am, it's only lashes shadow. So what is happening? The light is coming and that shadow is falling over here. You will see this jaws shadow falling. Some people will have, like a very deep set eye. The eyebrow shadow will also fall, and you can't see the eyes at all at that time. So if that is the case, chin up. That way the light is falling on the face, and that way you won't get any shadows. Your makeup will look a lot more defined. So this angle is a very important angle. Just make your clients sit down, make them sit down. Make them just kind of sit very relaxed, and tell them to chin up and close their eyes if you want. Tell them to keep their hands on their lap. You can take a picture from this angle, from a little bit high. So full makeup, everything will be properly seen. And the face is slightly coming front, right? Compared to the body, the face is slightly coming front. So the face will be in highlight. Okay. And then you have this one, which is to find your angle. So this will be side angle. This is your center angle. This is with your chin up. And this is just like normal, opposite to the face. This is where the camera is little high, the forehead, everything looks a little bigger. This is where it is just opposite, like how you're seeing me right now. If I'm sitting like this, it is opposite to you. Fine. And then after that, let's see these pictures and let's see what went wrong. So they're all my students, and I think they've done very good makeup. So I just wanted to show you that. But let's just see how they can actually improvise, right? All of us, we have scope of improvement. So when you see this picture over here, what went wrong? Her makeup looks so good, like, her eyeshadow and her contour, everything looks really good. But what are you first seeing in the picture? You will start noticing her double chin over here, even though she does not have a double chin in real life. So what exactly went wrong? The camera is very low. She must have kept her camera over here, and she's sitting like this. So you're seeing the double chin over here, right? Camera is here, so it will definitely capture the double chin. That is the first mistake which happened with her pictures, right? Now, the thing is, another thing, she's very close to the camera. It's literally like I'm sitting like this for your class. And you're like, why is she so close? Correct? So that is basically what happened with the pictures also. And it kind of occupies the entire space, the entire frame. There is no background at all. So what happens? It just feels like there is too much in one picture, like too much information in just one picture. Second thing, when you see her picture, again, what went wrong to her picture? What are you seeing first with the entire thing? You see her bangles. And you don't see her face. And don't you think her face looks so much more smaller than her body, and her hands are looking much more bigger? Like it's like this. If I'm sitting like this and if I'm taking a picture, you are first seeing what? You're seeing my hands. You're not even seeing my face, but you're taking a picture for makeup. So your makeup should be seen front. So always, whenever you're taking a picture of a client or of yourself, don't lean like this and sit. Rather, sit slightly front, like slightly lean front. Don't lean too much, just slightly lean front, or sit super straight and then slightly tilt front. And chin slightly down, you'll get a much more better picture. Okay, so that is one thing which went wrong. Second thing is the space in the frame. So I have a frame over here. You see me right now, there is a frame. So imagine if I go all the way back and if I sit in one corner like this. What are you seeing? Are you seeing the frames or are you seeing me? So there's a confusion right now which is happening. So how do you get this clear when it comes to your client? You have to fill the frame. At least 50%, 40, 50, 60% of that frame should be your client or yourself. You can't have extra amount of space because people will look at that space. So imagine it like even when you take a photo, right? You will get a grid in your photos. In your phone itself, line will come. Like 2 lines like this and 2 lines like this will come. Right? Take the model and make sure she's exactly in that middle. That middle one line is over here. Make sure she's in this line. And her head is somewhere in the top to middle box of it, not in the bottom. What happened to her is she just went way too low and the camera is like way too low. That is basically what went wrong. How can you fix this picture? How can I fix this picture now? If I keep some books and if I keep the camera a little more higher, like opposite to her face, picture will turn out to be amazing. Okay, so that is what we can do with her picture. Next, what happened to her picture? She's very close to the camera. She's very close to the camera. And another thing is that she is leaning too much front, that her body looks very small and her face is looking very big. In real life, that's not how she looks. So she's looking like this. Correct? So the face is way too front. So you have to slightly push it back and slightly chin down, and then the frame will look a little more better. Go a little bit more back. Again, don't cover the entire frame. Have more space on the sides also. Okay, and don't take vertical pictures for your portfolio, because this is like you take phone like this, you take photos like this. So if you see me right now, it will be like this. You just take a vertical full shot, and that basically it doesn't work, because if I'm going to put this on a portfolio like Instagram or your business portfolio, it will crop it, it will cut off this much. So the bottom part will not come, only the face will come. It will look like this on the pictures, right? And you want that extra space whenever you're taking a picture. So let's look at some more things. And this is basically what I spoke to you all this while. So first we spoke about finding the correct angle. I told you to experiment. Take left, right, top, down, straight, little tilted, little not tilted, chin out, chin back. Try different ways of clicking picture. You'll find out the perfect angle for you. We all have a different angle. So like one of them have asked, how do we do, let's say that, there's a person with a square face shape. So when you see square face shape, the jaw is basically very strong and the forehead is also a lot more on the stronger side. So when these two are strong, the best thing what you can do is to first do the contouring and everything properly. You can take a picture where the chin is slightly down. That way the jaw is not seen. Already the jaw is very strong. You don't want it to come front. No, if it comes front, there'll be more of focus on this. So push the jaw a little bit back and focus mostly on this area. You can do really good eye makeup. That way the focus is on the eyes. And then Vasha is asking, suppose if they focus only on the eye makeup, it looks weird. So why is it looking weird is the next question. So maybe you're going way too close to the camera. So if you go like this, it's going to look weird. Why? Because the forehead looks extremely huge and big, and even the eyes are looking out of proportion. You have to maintain proportion between the entire face, but you can slightly tweak it, slightly front, slightly back, not too front and not too back like this. So have that balance whenever you're working with pictures. how to find which angle our face is photogenic. Again, you have to try. Each of us have a different face shape. Each of us have a certain beautiful feature. Some of them will have beautiful lips. Some of them will have beautiful eyes. Some might have a perfect cheekbone, perfect jawline. So you see in which angle it's coming out really well. If you feel you have a perfect jawline, take your photos in this angle. If you feel you have very nice eyes, take your photos in this angle. So there's different ways to kind of do it. The best way to do that is to experiment. Try, and then you see what works out for you. So Smita is asking about which mobile phone is good for photography. See, most of the phones which come nowadays are very good when it comes to pictures. But if you're very specific, you want the best phone, you can try OnePlus in Android, or you can try iPhones in Apple. So these two work really good. But I know people who use Redmi, they take very good pictures too. It's very simple. You just have to use the back camera and your pictures will all look professional. That's it. Back camera is your ideal trick to getting a good picture. Second thing is lighting. When there's not enough light on that person, right? Your camera is struggling to see. If I switch off all the lights, wouldn't you struggle? Your eyes will be like, I can't see. Like you're kind of forcing your eyes to see. When I put you in a dark room, you're struggling to see anything. You're struggling to find out the pattern. And when you do that, you can't find clarity. So better lighting will also give you really good quality. You have to balance those two. That's why I'm talking about lighting for so long, because it's very important. Okay. And then after that, so bottom angle will focus on the lips. Top angle will focus on the eye makeup and the eyebrows and the forehead. And tilting chin down will kind of get off the double chin. I have a double chin here. So when I tilt my chin down, you're not seeing it now. Is it like this? You're seeing it. So the way I'm sitting is also making a difference, right? So the way you're taking a photo also will make the same difference. Okay. Then selfie stick to get that length and to make your background see. And always make sure your hands are not seen in the pictures. Don't have hand like this, two hands like this to take a photo. So it's best to avoid that, and that that earphone remote will work, or timer mode will also help for that. And then we will go to the next one. So some examples. So let's see what exactly are they doing in all these pictures, right? First picture, let's see this one. So let's look at the background of this picture. So when you see the background of this picture, it kind of looks blurry. Actually, all the pictures, the background looks a little more blurry. So this is something called as depth of field. It's a very big topic, but some phones automatically do this, and I'll tell you how. Some phones have this mode called as portrait mode. You'll all find this portrait mode on your phones, or if you download any app, like let's say you download any of these, like you have Facetune or you have Beauty Plus, you have so many apps like that, right? So in all that, they'll have one like portrait mode kind of one. So whenever you use portrait mode, it makes the background look a little more blurry. So why should the background look a little bit blurry? Because when I'm seeing a photo, you don't want to see the background. You don't want to see that bed sheet which is there in the back, or you don't want to see the lights. Then the client will look at the lights, instead of looking at the model. So it's important that when you slightly blur out the background, it looks a little more focused on the model, on her makeup. You're trying to show off the makeup. So for the makeup should be in focus. Fine. This is a very good angle to click pictures. First thing is, it shows the eye makeup well. It shows the cheek, the jaw really well. Shows the lips also really well. It pretty much shows everything really well. You can even see the hair. So if you're also doing professional hairstyling, you can even show off the hair and the makeup. And this is a very classic pose. You will see this pose very often in all portfolios and all that. This is a very easy way to also take a picture. It's a very candid looking shot also. Okay. Second one is this. Super easy. Just stand straight, tilt your head slightly, and look at the camera, and then you can just hold your chin. That's it. Super easy, right? This one again, same thing. You're just slightly tilting and you're putting your chin down. Super easy. Anyone can do this. It's very easy for them to do. So I've selected pictures which is easy for you to click a picture of. So you can always take pictures like this. When you do really good eye makeup, I think this is a very good option for you to take a picture of. So let's go back to this. So look at this. You see a bit of light over here on her face, a golden light over here on her shoulder, right? That is the backlight. I was talking about backlight in this slide over here, right? The backlight, which is like in that photo, they've used yellow, is going to do the same thing. So when you see this picture, the yellow over here is creating that lighting over here. And the entire part is looking like it is coming front, compared to that violet color in the back, she is coming a little more to the front. Okay. Then after that, this is a very easy picture, a very classic one. Just the difference in this picture versus your regular standing straight. So when you always tilt right, your model looks a little, you can see a lot more angles on the body. So when you're standing like this, you just see one like this. But when you tilt like this, you get this angle over here, you get that jawline which is seen, you get the ears which are seen, you get a lot of dimensions and angle. So hence tilting slightly and taking pictures are also helpful because the contour as well as the entire makeup is literally every single detail of her makeup is seen in this picture. Compared to something like the second picture, third picture over here, you see more detail in this picture. Okay. So next, phones. So we were talking about phones and how to get started. Best way to get started is start with what you have. Whatever phone you have, start with it. Okay. Start with the phone and just calculate the lighting. Like don't do a makeup in the middle of the night when you don't have any sunlight. So do makeup in the morning. That way you can take pictures in the sunlight. So kind of figure this part of it out. And you can always, that is always the best way of getting really good pictures with all of your looks. And whenever you do this, make sure that, like let's say you're going to buy a new phone. Whenever you buy it, make sure that it has that 1080 option, 1080p option. So that means it's going to give you full HD pictures. Nowadays, phones are coming out with 4K also. So most basic one is 1080. You can start with that. And I think that's a very good option for any phone which you're getting. Almost all the phones, all Android phones, all iOS phones, they all have this option right now. Okay. Once you start becoming more and more professional, second option is to get a camera, right? So camera, how is that helpful? Now, when you see a camera, a DSLR or anything, mirrorless camera, any of those things, again, it has more options for you to play around with. So you can kind of tweak settings and you can get what you want. And again, the pixel and the clarity and the quality of the picture is also a lot more better. You can think of getting a camera later in the future if needed. And then again, phones, back camera you will be using. Okay, this is a very important point. A lot of Androids have this filter. All of my students who send me on photo, they send me on photo, full skin will be blurred out. The contour is blurred out, the blush is blurred out, the eyes are blurred out. Every detail in the picture is fully blurred out. So we all put this beauty filter on our phones, and what it does, it smoothens the entire picture. It does not know exactly where the skin knows. So it will smoothen everything completely. So full face, the lip line, everything will look blurry. Now, you are not taking pictures to have a blurry skin. You are taking pictures that your client can see the perfection of your work. All of you here do really good work. Your cut crease lines, the wing liners, they're all looking phenomenal. They're looking so good. Why do you want to blur that out? So if you put that beauty filter on, that full frame is going to look just blurry. Come colors here. Okay, I know lip is over here. Okay, I know eye is over here. But you can't see anything else on the rest of the face. Okay. So skin smoothening is something which all the filters are coming with nowadays. They will all have a beauty filter or they'll have a skin smoother with that itself. So whenever you buy a phone, please switch that off before you're taking pictures for your portfolios. So why is that important? Is first thing people can find out. I'm able to tell now that the picture is looking fake. So you think your client will not be able to tell? Even your client will know that the picture is looking fake. And when your client automatically knows that you're using a filter for the work, they will assume that the skin will not look really good. And also you want to show the skin what you're actually doing on the pictures too. Your client should be able to see that you are able to make the pores look so much minimized. You're able to make the skin, your makeup is so good. You're doing such good work. Why do you want to blur it out? So quality pictures are always helpful. Realistic pictures are always helpful. Second thing is, when you don't use a filter, you can always smoothen later if you want to. You can do editing later and you can do it. But if you take one picture which is completely smooth, I can't bring details back into it no matter how good I'm at editing. So it's better to take a very high quality, good quality picture with good lighting and all details are shown. Let it be acne, let it be pores, let it be whatever it is. Let it be seen. If you're really keen on it, you can slightly edit it later, but don't take a picture which is looking fully blurry and just like one filter is on the face. Okay, so that part is very important. You can fix it later also if you want to. And then after that, a couple of lighting options. This is a ring light. So this stand is called as a tripod. You can buy this on Amazon. It will be like around 1,000, 1,500, 2,000, around that price range. So you can have it stand like this. And then on that stand over here, you have to keep the ring light. So when you put the ring light on top of it and when you switch it on, you can put like power. Most of them are not battery, they're mostly live electricity. So you can just have to put it into a socket and your ring light will basically switch on. It looks like a tube light, which is round. Like you take a tube light, you can see it on my eye right now, you see one round. So you can see a phone reflection. That is basically how a ring light will look. So it looks like a round, correct? So that's basically how your ring lights will look. Now, it is just like an additional source of lighting, which is just opposite to your face. Most basic investment when it comes to beauty photography is a ring light. First investment, basically. Now, this one of you who was asking about, like you have a ring light which has yellow, white, and mix. So you're wondering which light should be used for photography. Fine. So do you remember tones? You remember tones which we were talking about in day 3? So we speak about skin tones. We talk about warm tones, cool tones, all those kind of things, right? So the same thing is what happens with your lights. So when you see sunlight, it has a lot of yellow, orange, that kind of a color coming with it. So that is a warm tone form of a light. The color is basically warm. So it's a warm light. Now, let's say you have bulb, like you get this incandescent bulb, that yellow kind of a bulb, sodium vapor lamps, all those things are basically yellow colored kind of bulbs. Contrary, let's talk about moonlight, tube lights, ring light, the classic ring lights, they all basically have white kind of cool kind of a white color. And that becomes your cool lighting. So you have warm kind of, like it's basically a range. There's a scale range and this is the warmer side and that is the cooler side. Like there's a value for all that. So you're basically talking about your ring light having very warm values and very cool values. Now I'll tell you what and how this thing can change a picture. I'll tell you that in the next slide actually. So we'll talk about that in the next one. So second one, this is called as a soft box. Now what is a soft box? When you see ring lights, it's literally like you're putting your face in front of a tube light. So what happens? The place which is closest to the tube light will look very bright. Like for example, when you look at me right now, this part of my forehead looks very, very, very light. And this part of my face looks very light. My nose looks very light, right? Look at my neck. You can't even see my neck because it is going more back and the ring light is not falling on the neck. So what is happening? There is a very strong contrast in the look. Some parts are looking very light. Some parts are looking very dark. It is not kind of balanced. It's too light or too dark, right? So how do you balance this? Is if you have something like a soft box. So what it does is kind of like, I have a light and if I take maybe like one very, like you have all these chiffon sarees, which are very thin, right? They're kind of transparent kind of a color. So imagine a white chiffon saree upon the light. So what happens? The light is coming through that. Kind of like if I have curtains and morning when you wake up, light is coming from the curtain. So what is happening? The light is not looking very strong. But the moment you remove the curtain, what is happening? The light is hitting your face. Sunlight is just kind of affecting your eyes and you just feel it's so bright. So a thin layer, kind of like a cloth, or there are certain materials to do that. It is basically toning down and it is evening the light out. More than toning it down, it is evening the light out. It is not giving you strong contrast on the face. Rather, this is going to give you soft, even lighting. So when you see my face, the sides are all looking dark. This side is all looking dark. My neck is looking darker. The sides of my nose is looking darker. If I was wearing bigger lashes, you see my lash shadow over here. That is happening because of the ring light, because ring light is very harsh lighting and soft box will give you soft lighting. So everything will look more even and your makeup will look good. Your contour will not look much more darker than what it is and your highlighters will not look much more lighter than what it is. So what you have really done will be seen whenever you're using a soft box. Okay. Third form of lighting is all these kind of LEDs. You have strobe lights. There are multiple options for that. Nowadays, they sell neon lights. There's so many things which are coming out right now, but LED lights are much more kind of easy to carry and go because you can kind of fold it into a small box and take it. So compared to a ring light, LED lights are a lot more easier to use. And LED lights are so much more intense. So the light which comes from an LED light is so intense that you don't need any other lighting. So just one LED light is more than enough to kind of fill up the entire room. So it's a little more on the pricier side. I say it's a future investment. So probably start with the ring light, and then you can think of something like an LED light much more later. Okay, so now let's just kind of go through every single lighting mistakes in this entire slide. So what went wrong in the first slide? Someone was asking me about, like the ring light having warm lighting and cool lighting, right? So this is basically what will happen to your picture. It is the same picture of the same girl with the same makeup. So what went wrong? This picture, she looks too orange, and this picture, she looks way too gray, like bluish kind of a color. Right? And that is because of the lighting. Whenever you click a picture in tube light or maybe just a white ring light, you are going to end up with something like this. So you're going to look a little more grayish, blue tonedish. So let's say you're doing maybe a coral blush. Your coral blush will not look that coral. It's going to start looking slightly on the pinkier side. Let's say you're doing a very warm eye makeup, like a sunset, like orange eyeshadow, red eyeshadow, and all those yellow eyeshadow. It will not look like that. It's going to look a lot more dull and very subtle kind of a color. Okay. And the same thing the other way around. Let's say you're doing blue eyeshadow. Your blue will not look like blue. It will look like greenish kind of a color if the lighting is very warm. So it is needed that you either, two options you have. One is you balance the light. You make sure the light is not too cool in your ring light, and you make sure it is not too warm in the ring light. There's somewhere well in the balance where it does not look too golden or does not look too stark, somewhere in the middle. Second option is that you change your white balance. So what is white balance? It's a huge topic. So it's like I'm teaching my camera what is white. So I'm showing, now let's say I'm having a piece of cloth. To you, this cloth is looking white. Correct. Now let's say I'm having yellow color light falling on this. This cloth will look little yellow color. So my camera is assuming that this is not white. So put a certain lighting and teach the camera that this is white. So whenever it looks at your skin, it will identify the colors properly. That is white balance. So I said second option is very big of something to do. Do the first option, balance your light. Make sure it's not too warm and make sure it's not too cool. Third option is you can edit it out. I'll show you how to edit that in the next part of the next part of the class. In this picture, what went wrong in this picture? You see, this part of her face is completely not exposed. So what is exposed? There is no light. There's no brightness on this part of the face. And this part is very strong. Like she can't even open her eyes. That's how strong the light is on this side. Because the light is so strong, some parts of her face are looking so bright. And look at this part here. There is such a strong shadow over here. There is such a strong shadow over here. There is so much shadow in this part of her face because this part is so light. So this is harsh lighting. Correct? This is usually used for all this, like kind of aesthetic photography, or let's say someone is making a movie, right? Like you see all these, like some of the, like when you see, what is his name? There is this director who loves taking movies in this kind of an angle. So it's a movie thing. It does not work for makeup, because makeup, we want the skin to be evenly seen. We don't want one half, one color, one more half, one more color. So having a light opposite is better than having a light in the side. So sunlight, again, this is important. This picture is taken on sunlight. So when you can see this picture, the sun is opposite. And in this picture, like not directly opposite, it's a little more higher kind of setting, that kind of a time. And this one is where the sun is super bright on one side of the face. Okay. Now this picture, what went wrong? The background is so bright that the people over here are not at all seen. So when you first look at the picture, what did you see? The background. So whatever is lighter is always first visible to the human eye. So you're not going to look at the person, and you don't want the makeup to not be seen, and you don't want people to look at the background, right? So whatever, when you're taking a picture, the lighting is important for that reason. So let's say you're doing outdoor photography. One option is you turn the person completely. So light is coming from the back. So this part, somewhere light is coming. You turn fully and you take a photo. That is first option. Second option, you put a light opposite your client, which is much more stronger than the light which is coming from the back, and that will be this picture. So you see this picture, the light, which they've kept a light in front of them, which is so strong that you can actually see all the people who are sitting over here. Okay. Next, this picture, this is the example which I was telling you about what happens with the ring light. There is a light in the front. This light is coming from the front, but you see her skin, what is happening? This part of her skin is looking so bright. Here it's looking bright. Here it's looking bright. And there are very strong shadows over here. Like her hair is causing a shadow all across over here. And, you know, her jaw, her neck, everything is completely darkened out. So the lighting is either too strong or it is too dark. When there is lighting like this, you can't expect your clients to look at your makeup and be like, oh, wow, she knows how to contour really well. Even if you did a really good contour, they won't be able to tell that you've done a really good contour because all that other places are pretty much blurred out. The under eyes will all look very dark. So you really can't make a difference that they've actually done some work on the skin. Now, when you look at this picture, the lighting is a lot more softer. So one way to work with a ring light and have soft lighting is to keep the ring light a little far away. So take the ring light a little more far or reduce the intensity of the ring light. So I have some students, like, you know, in the class when they're doing the look in front of me, they'll do a beautiful black smoky. It looks so intense. And the moment they click a picture and they send to me, the black will look gray. So what is happening? The light is way too strong, that the colors are all kind of washing off. So you have to either keep the light a little more back or you reduce the light's intensity. So when you do that, you'll get a picture like this. You see this picture, like her dress, her neck, her jaw, her hair, her eyes, her, you know, the under eyes, the smile lines, everything is very well balanced. The light is a lot more smoother. It's evenly distributed. Okay. And then after that, the last picture, let's just talk about that. And when you see this picture, again, this is the best example of how all students send pictures. Hand is seen over here, like this in the background, and the face is completely dark. So what exactly is happening over here? You don't see the person at all. You don't see the makeup at all. So light, she should turn around. When she's clicking this picture, if she turned around, she'll get a better picture. Just turn around and take the same picture. It will come out perfectly. Okay. Now moving on to the next one is background. So all of them are my students and they've done very nice work, but let's just see what exactly went wrong. Before that, let's just finish a little more of theory. I told you this part before itself, more than 50% of the image should, you know, like more than 50% should be the background. So it's kind of like if I'm sitting over here, this much is my background and this much is my background. So much is the background and then the remaining is me. If I sit like this, it looks way too strong. Like it just does not kind of show the entire makeup and, you know, whatever is the outfit and everything. So have a little bit of length. Don't go too close to the camera. Okay. Second thing, neat wall. You don't want your client to get distracted. So imagine if I have something very, very flashy on my wall over here, like a nice shining one, something over there. What are you going to look at? Are you going to look at me or are you going to be looking at that flashy thing? You're going to look at the flashy thing. So when you see this picture over here, she has these green lights over here. So when she sent me, this was her exam picture. So I was like, oh, wow. I was like, what are these green lights? So the first thing I saw was the light and I didn't even see her makeup, which was actually so good. So don't have too many distractions in the background, which can be probably a light or maybe somebody is moving or a TV is there, anything, you know, some kind of distraction. Don't have that in the background. Have it a little more clean. The focus is on you. You don't want the background to take the focus. The hard work, you have done it. So show it really well, right? So you're doing the work. So make sure that you're portraying it really well. So neat wall is one best example. I tell all of my students, find one clean wall, pink wall, blue wall, whatever wall it is, but one neat wall. All of us, we have a wall. Just go stand in front of it and then take a picture. Light should be opposite to you. So tube light is here, go to the wall opposite, stand there and take a picture. That's all. It's as easy as that. So that way you will get a neat wall. And then if you want, you can go outside somewhere, you know, a park or something. You can go to a garden. You can take a picture. What are backdrops? Backdrop is like kind of like a curtain kind of a thing you can put in the back. There are stands which they sell for doing that. So you'll have a stand like a tripod stand. Look like a curtain rod actually. And you can put a curtain kind of a cloth upon it and clip it in the sides also. So it'll be one smooth color just behind you. That is one option, or any presentable background. Like one of my students, she went to a temple and she took pictures. It came out really well. It kind of worked with the aesthetic of a bridal look in a temple. So it was very nice. So you can go to a temple, you can take pictures, you can go anywhere out, like suppose some very nice natural scenery place. Not a very strong background. Like don't stand in front of Taj Mahal. You're not going to be seen. Taj Mahal is only going to be seen. So make sure that you're balancing this out. The background should not be distracting. You want your client to look at you, not the background. So background should not be distracting. It can add value to your entire look, but it should not distract a person. Okay. switches, chargers, clothes. I've seen the most amazing things in the background always. Like when you see her picture, like she has a charger here, she has chairs, she has files, she has a beautiful neon lights over here. Same with her also. Like if you just turn a little bit, so don't think that I finished a look, I'll just, with whatever clothes I'm wearing, I'll just take my phone and take a picture and send it to my mom. That cannot go into a portfolio. So when you're doing work for almost 2 hours, 2.5 hours by learning so much, trying so much, you're probably practicing in the middle of the night, take really good picture. That will complete the entire thing. All your hard work will pay off when you take a really good picture. So once you finish it, like if she just went to this wall over here, she has a wall over here, she has maybe so many other walls over there, just went to the wall, stood there and took the same picture, it looks so much more better. Right? Because all these are distracting. You're going to look at the blue curtains in the back. You're going to look at, oh, what is she having over here? So you're basically getting distracted. This one, the most classic mistake, I've told students n number of times, and I don't know why this is happening. So you can see she's overexposed because the light is very close to the skin. So ring lights should be, treat your ring light like a tube light. The tube light is far away. You're not standing in front of the tube light, right? So tube light is far away. Ring light also should be slightly far away. At least 1 meter, 1.5 meters distance. So keep it slightly far away, and that way there's not too much of contrast. It looks a little more smoother, and the ring light will not be seen. You don't want a round. It's not like the round is framing your face. Your makeup is framing you. The makeup looks beautiful. The hairstyling, everything, the dress, everything looks beautiful. So the ring light is kind of, it's kind of spoiling the entire picture, right? So you can make sure that there's no ring light which are seen in your picture. No ring lights, phones, earphones, none of that stuff should be seen in the picture. Chargers, clothes hanging in the bag, lot of things, none of that should be seen. Just have a clean background and it should be more than enough. Okay, so we go to the next one. Now, you took good pictures, you have good lighting, you have good background, very well balanced lighting, balanced pictures, beautiful angles, beautiful makeup, beautiful clothes, everything is pretty much done. And this was her picture for that. She's done a really good work. I think we can all tell that she's done very nice work. Like you see her half cut face, it's beautifully done. Her liner is perfect, eyebrows, her jewelry, everything. She's done so much hard work. And still you feel like it does not look like how it looks in real life. It could be the lighting. Lighting is always one thing to blame. Phones are one more bigger thing to blame. So we all have these equipments which can sometimes change things and we don't know how exactly to control it. DSLRs will give you that control, but not a lot of phones can give you that control unless it has a professional mode in it. So how can you control that? How can you kind of take that step up is by editing a picture. Fine. Now, I'm not talking about crazy editing where you completely take off the makeup and you do something else on the face and you keep. That is not going to convince any client. Your clients want to see what exactly work you have done. Make sure that it looks just like how it looks when you have done it in reality. The way you see a color, if you feel that color is looking very intense, like a blue is looking very intense, make sure that even the picture, it looks the same way. That's it. Now, how do you do that? I'll show you that part of it. So before that, let's just talk about certain factors which are over here. Right? Let's look at this picture and let's first see what went wrong. First, angle, everything is good. Makeup, everything is good. So when you see her picture, let's start looking at other colors around. Okay, this is a wall. Don't you think the wall looks more gray? It's a white wall and the white wall is looking gray. Correct. So what went wrong? The lighting is too cool. It looks like there is a blue filter on her makeup. So a little bit more of orangeness will look good. That is the first factor. Second thing, contrast. There is no contrast. She has done she's actually my student and I've seen her work in camera and real life. So I know how she does work. So her contour, everything is beautiful. Like she's done the contour really well. And the contour is also looking very gray and very dull and very dark. Skin is looking very kind of gray kind of color. And there's no difference between the tone. Even though she has done very good cream contouring and cream highlighting, you don't see the difference between the contour and the highlight. It all looks same. So what is going wrong? Contrast. Now, what is contrast? You have heard this word contrast with sarees. So imagine someone is wearing a red saree and a green blouse. You're like, oh, wow, contrasting blouse for the saree. So two opposite colors or two kind of different tones which are coming in the same picture is called as a contrast. So now that we talk about in photography in terms of an area which is much more darker and an area which is much more lighter. So when you see her picture, there is no difference. Like even like when you see her hair also, it's not looking as dark as it looks in real life. Her liner is not looking as dark as it looks in real life. So some kind of editing will help to fix this up. What else can you see in her face? First is that warmth which you can add, and then you can add a little more of saturation. You can add a little more of contrast to her picture. There is enough brightness. Her picture looks very bright because she has used a ring light. It looks already very bright. So there's not much brightness to increase, but the colors have all kind of reduced. We have to increase it. That is the first thing which we're going to be doing. So all phones also have this feature. And most of the phones do it. Like when you phone, when you open a picture, you'll have a button saying edit mode. So when you click on edit mode, you can easily find all these features like brightness or exposure. You have contrast, saturation, warmth, sharpness, and all those kind of factors. So I told you what is brightness. More bright, less bright. You know, more bright means it looks more bright. Less bright means it look more dark. That's it. Too. That's the opposite of each other. Then contrast, again, the difference, the tonal difference, and I mean the dark and light difference is their contrast. Saturation means like when you see her picture, you have this blue eyeshadow here. Look at the blue here and look at the blue over here. It looks more stronger. It looks a lot more intense, right? Look at her crease, this orangish kind of a color over here. Looks a lot more stronger in this picture. Her blush looks more stronger. Her lipstick looks a lot more stronger. So the color is looking more vibrant. The color has more like blue is looking like blue, not like a dull blue. So you want to make the colors to look intense. Saturation, you can increase it. Okay, colors should be intense. Saturation. What is warmth? I told you the picture looks very gray, like it has too much of blue in it. So when you put a little bit of warmth, like imagine that when you keep a sunlight in front of her, she'll get very warm kind of a color. No? That is to increase the warmth in a picture. And of course, sharpness will increase the sharpness. Not if you take a blurry picture and you assume it will make it fully sharp. That is not going to happen. Slightly, it can enhance the sharpness. It can't take a picture when there is no sharpness and give it sharpness. So just a little bit of whatever image you're taking, you can slightly increase up the sharpness to make the edges look a little more defined. Okay, this is your most basic form of doing. Second is phone editing. I'll be showing you phone editing next after this. So you can just take out your phones and you can download all these apps and you can just do editing on your phone. And Snapseed is available on Android as well as Google. So you just have to use it and you can nicely edit your pictures. Don't edit it in a way that it is over edited. We all see over edited pictures on a day-to-day basis in life. Anyone can easily look at a picture and tell that it has been overly edited. When a picture looks overly edited, your clients will not believe that you can do the work, even though the work might have actually been really good. So slightly edit your pictures, enhance your pictures. Don't change the way it looks. If it is blue, let it look blue. Don't make blue look like green. If your skin is of a certain color, don't change the color, don't change the tone. If it's a red, if it's a pink blush, don't put so much saturation that it'll start looking like an orange blush. So have a good balance. Make the colors look a little more enhanced, a little better, a little more vibrant, not completely that it looks artificial. Okay, so you have to find the balance. Don't over edit a picture. That's the most common mistake which anyone does. So don't over edit your pictures. And then of course, there's professional ways of editing like Photoshop, Lightroom and all that stuff. This is like if you want to do something like this, you have to take up a course. That way you'll be able to learn everything in a much more structured manner. So I'll show you how to do this before and after now. So doubts, anything as of now, like with the current topics, or we'll finish the editing and then we will talk about the doubts?
Yeah, Sonika will do that.
Okay, just give me a minute. Can you see? Okay, so let's look at the same picture. I'm doing the same pictures editing. You can take notes for this part of it if you want. We'll go very slowly, that way you kind of understand. So first you will download this app called as Snapseed. I'll type it down for you. So you can download this app and you can keep it on your phone. It's a free app, so you can all get it. It's on Google anyways. So if you have Google Play, you can just go and get it right now also. Okay, so that is Snapseed. Now, after you get Snapseed, open the app, let it install, open the app. you'll get this plus symbol. Click on the plus symbol. Then you'll get your entire gallery. Take whichever picture. So this is the picture I want to edit. So I'll click on that picture and it will come into this app. So then the picture has loaded into the app. Okay. Now, after this, after you do this, there are certain options which you will see in the bottom, and that is going to be the first one, which is tune image. So we're going to click on tune image. Basic, most basic form of editing, tune image. First option is tune image. Okay. Now, in tune image, let's start seeing what are the functions. So you can see that I'm increasing the brightness of the picture and I'm also reducing the brightness at the same time. So something is happening when you see the brightness is low and when you see the brightness is higher. Let's look at it again. So let's see the brightness. It's increasing, that she looks so washed out, and then you can also reduce it. So I'm reducing the brightness a little bit because the image was very bright. So what would have happened is she would have kept her ring light in a much more higher light setting. So full, she just looks way too light and you want to kind of reduce it a little bit. So I'm reducing the lighting. Why am I reducing lighting? That way the features are seen. Black should look like black. So your eyeliner should look like black, not like a gray color. So you have to tone down the brightness if that is happening with your images. And then after that, moving on to the second option, this is contrast. So you have an option called as contrast. High contrast, very, very plus number, like probably plus 50, plus 60, high values of contrast. You can see what is happening to the image. So the contour is looking so strong. The eyes are looking so strong. Wherever there's a natural shadow, like for example, bone structure, we all have bone structure, right? So wherever there's a natural shadow, it looks even more stronger than what it naturally is. You see her forehead, and it'll also make the texture also look a lot more stronger. So wherever there is a little bit of texture, wherever there's a tiny bit of shadow, it'll look even more stronger. Look at this place, it looks so much more stronger. You don't want this. Now, even though it looks nice in certain ways, a lot of us feel that this looks nice. We all use filters to give you this effect, correct? Like a very strong, hard contrast kind of an image. So what happens is it changes the makeup. Your makeup does not look like how it will look in real life. You can't do this on your client, right? So your client is going to expect work which will look realistic. So you can't go with that high of a contrast where the number is so high. So we're going to reduce it now. Okay, so I'm going less. The contrast is going lesser and lesser and lesser. So what is happening to the image now? There is no contrast. It's like zero contrast. Everything looks kind of same. You don't see any contour. You don't see blush. You don't see anything. Everything is looking one same but gray kind of a color. Fine. So contrast is important, but not too high and not too less. So you have to balance it really well. So we're going to increase it now again, and you see the features kind of coming back as you're increasing it. And then we're going to kind of take it up a little more. So contrast is going higher and her skin just automatically starts looking a little more realistic now. So the colors are also seen, like the contour is seen. The eyeliner looking a little more darker, crease is looking slightly more darker, the jawline is looking a little more darker, the hair is looking darker, skin is having a good contrast. You see this part of her face is looking lighter, and this part where she's contoured is looking darker. So there's a slight amount of contrast. I'm not increasing it that it looks very fake, just a tiny amount of contrast we're increasing it up. So that is the difference. And then after that, so we're giving like plus 23. And now the next factor, we're going to talk about saturation. So this is a very high saturation. So what does saturation do is that it makes all the colors look bright. So let's look at the initial image, which is over here. And when I increase the saturation, the blue is looking more vibrant. The orange in the crease is looking very strong. Yes. All that looks very beautiful. The blush is looking very pink. Lips are looking very pink. The dress, everything is looking very nice. But what is happening? The image is starting to become very orange. She did not look like this in the first. So why is she looking so much more orange? Because contrast has a way that it increases everything. Overall full image, saturation, overall full image, it will just increase it up. Your skin tone already has a tinge of yellow in it and just increases it more, it becomes orange basically. So you can't go very high on the saturation, just increase it a little bit. So this is just for you to know what happens. So this is at very, very high saturation, which is not good. And this is at very low saturation. So low saturation is basically a black and white picture. There is no colors. So saturation is increasing colors, correct? So if you reduce saturation, what will happen? There won't be any colors. So it will become a black and white image. So you can't have low saturation, you can't have very high saturation. So balance it somewhere in the middle. Sometimes if your images look very gray, you can increase saturation a little more. It will bring in some more warmth into your picture. Your colors will have a little more definition. When you're very close to the light, right, your entire face will not have any color. Your blacks, everything will kind of not look very strong. Saturation will help you that time. So now we're again increasing it, bringing saturation somewhere a little higher, maybe around somewhere. I usually do it around 10, 15, around that range, not more than that. So beyond that, it just looks way too fake. Now there's a factor called as ambience. Now what is ambience? Ambience means like you have an object, a person, and you have a background. So ambience in the negative side, negative values like -10, -15, -20, it will make the person look like it is more highlighted and it will dull the background out. And plus ambience will bring both of them much more closer. It's kind of like you have background and you have a person. So it will do this. The hand will get much more darker and the person will get a little more lighter. And if you do the other way around, the background will look much more lighter and the person will look darker. So you will see that happening now anyways. So you can see the ambience that she has toned down, and that is because the ambience is going in plus. So we're going to pull the ambience to minus now to make it look a little more normal. And it'll lift her up slightly. So we've put a -9 ambience. That way she kind of comes a little bit front and the background looks a little more pushed. That's it. Okay. Then after that, we're going to work with shadows. The highlights is there. I didn't do highlight. Why? Because already her image is very highly exposed. There is so much of light already. You saw the initial image. There was so much of light because of the ring light. So you don't want to increase the highlight beyond, because then that entire the place where we highlight will look even more lighter. It's going to look very artificial. So I'm going to create shadows because the contours were not looking very strong and her hair is not looking as dark as it looks. There's not proper definition. The colors are not looking very dark and intense. For any image, see, we all think that for an image we should have a lot of whiteness, a lot of lightness, but a good image is where there is a balance between light and dark. So you have to maintain that balance between both to give that good balance in the entire image. So it should have dark also. So I'm creating the shadows now by using the shadow option. So when you see the shadows, it's just going more and more and more and darker. So now it looks way too artificial, right? Like it looks kind of like a retro picture where there is no lighting at all. Like look at this part of her shoulder. It's like completely darkened. It's not like how it looked in the beginning. So there's a very high shadow. We're reducing it, giving just a little bit of shadow. That was the initial image, and then now we have added a tiny bit of shadow. So next we will go to warmth. So warmth, I told you again, warmth will give you that, it will kind of make it look like there's a little bit of yellow light on the skin. So let's see what warmth does. So now you see her skin tone is coming back to a much more realistic approach than just looking very pale where no colors were seen. So it looks more balanced now. And this is where you go very cool. So if you reduce the warmth, now let's say you take a picture and the picture looks very, very yellow looking. No, you can reduce the warmth. It will balance out. Fine. So her picture was looking very cool. So I'm going to add warmth because right now it's getting only more cool. So I'm going to add warmth right now. So let's just add some. And she looks a little more like, you can see her skin, you can see some colors, some amount of, like she just looks a little more alive right now. Now, this is a factor called as white balance. I was telling you about white balance, right? So that will change because of lighting. So if I have a light which is very, very warm, I will start looking yellow. Like if I sit in front of a bulb, I look yellow. If I sit in front of white light, I will look very, very gray kind of a color, like how her picture was looking in the first. So white balance is important in this. Another factor is something called as a tint. So tint is something where some images can look green. Have you ever experienced that your image is looking blue or green? So the white balance is basically going wrong. So you can increase it. Suppose if it's looking very blue, add some pink into it. It will start looking a little more on the green. Sorry, if it's looking very green, add some pink. It will start looking a little more normal and much more like balanced out. So we will see how that happens. So I'm adding so much of tint that she's looking very, very pink right now. And the background, the white wall itself is changing. So it's just way too much. So if you go on the other side, this is what happens if your pictures are having this blueness in that. So sometimes you might get pictures like this, very blue kind of picture. Sometimes in some tube lights, you'll get pictures like this. So you can always increase the warmth to make it look a little more realistic. So I just added a little more tint because her image was looking a little more dull. So a little bit of temperature, and now we'll add a little bit of tint. Not too pink and not too green. So when you go to the other side of tint, your images will start looking green. You don't want her to look green. You want it to look a little more balanced. Okay. So after this, you can go to this option where you have all this, like there is this sharpening tool. So when you click on sharpening, it will sharpen every detail on the face also. For example, wrinkles, you might have blurred it out by using makeup. But when you do sharpening, that wrinkle is going to start looking a lot more stronger. Like when you see her skin was looking smooth in the beginning. And now you see all the pores and all kind of like, whiteheads, everything is starting to be much more seen. So sharpening is also not a very great option. One way to use sharpening is if your image looks blurred, you can sharpen it slightly. Otherwise, don't sharpen. Her image was already very clear, so there's no need to sharpen. So I'm just showing you what the option does. So this is when you sharpen it, and I'm just kind of bringing it back. That way it's not looking very strong on her face. So this is when you blur it completely. This is what happens to all your pictures when you take with a beauty filter. Where is her nose? You can't even see her nose. You can't see the eyebrow hair. You can't see her contour. You can't see blush. You can barely see detail on the picture. So make sure that your pictures are not very blurred. And by blurred, I mean a beauty filter. So do not use a beauty filter. Make sure it is as normal as possible. This is with very high sharpening, and this is with literally too much of blurring on the image. So we're going to balance it out again and kind of maintain it like how it looked when it was natural. So this is a crop option. So I was telling you about aspect ratios, right? So how you can change it depending on a certain image of yours about like where you're going to post it. So there are options in this app itself. So you can do, a square crop, you can do a vertical one, you can do 4:5, anything, and you can just crop your images, and it'll fit your business portfolios a lot more better, and everything will look same that way. So this is looking way too close. So we're going to go to another one, and we're going to use a 4:5 or a 3:2 to give it a little more balance. So this is used for Instagram, and all this like 5:4 and 4:5, they're used for Instagram. And this is your vertical one, which is your stories, reels, that kind of a format. So there's an option called as Glamour Glow, which is basically what your filters will do. It will smoothen your skin. You'll feel like your skin is looking very glowy, right? So that is basically what is happening. So very high of it is again going to look very fake, and very low of it, you can increase it slightly. It will give you a little more of a smoothness on the skin, but don't increase it that it looks artificial. And then last, you can always add anything like a watermark. Like if you do work, you can add your watermark in the bottom. Like let's say you have a page, you can just add a watermark, and make sure your watermarks are not too dark and it is not too opaque. Why? Meaning because it just takes away the attention from the makeup. So it's advisable to keep it very small and keep it in one corner. That way it's not anywhere, kind of hindering with the makeup. So that will be your finished image, and you just have to click on save, and it will export. Good. So that is the way you will edit, and pretty easy. A lot of these features are on your phone itself, or you can just download Snapseed and you can just kind of do the same process. So we're almost done. Just a little more, and yeah, so we did editing, and let's move on to maintaining an aesthetic feel. Now, pictures, everything you've done. You've taken good pictures, you've edited your pictures, all that stuff is done. Fine. So I've given you 4 feed images over here. Now, what kind of a story are you maintaining with your feed is the next question. So some person is coming and they're looking at your business portfolio. You're sending them the link. And when they open the portfolio, they see like one image is very far, one image is very close, one image you're just wearing a t-shirt and sitting, one image your hair is up in a bun, one image there are like nail photo shoot pictures, one has, hair photo shoot, one has saree draping. So when an unknown person comes and sees your work, they'll feel confused. They'll be like, what exactly is she trying to show with her work? So your feed or your portfolio or anything, Instagram, anything should have a story. When you're showing that, it should communicate something, because there's nobody speaking, right? So your feed should speak for itself. A person should look and be able to tell, oh wow, she's a hairstylist. She's able to do saree draping. She's able to do makeup. These are her techniques with makeup. So your feed should be able to communicate to them by doing that. Right? So when you look at these three over here, there is a certain category. Like when you see the first one, it's pretty much just eye. Second one is pretty much just nails. And the third one is a bridal one. There's a little bit of hairstyling also in the middle. Like, let's look at the fourth one right now. Okay, she's also one of my students. So when you see her work, she has some which are a close-up, which is a square feed and it has eye pictures. And then suddenly there is a review. There's a post, like there's a review about some sunscreens and moisturizers. There's a review again over here. There's a nail video, like nail picture over here. And then there is a bridal kind of looks in this middle part. And then there are some very aesthetic looking selfies right over here. And when you see these selfies over here, they have a gap coming in the side. And that is coming because of the aspect ratio went wrong. So when you see her picture, what will you think? Is she a makeup artist? Is she reviewing products? Is she doing nails? Is she doing eyes? Is she doing bridal? Or is she just taking like really good aesthetic pictures? Like you don't know that story which she's trying to communicate. So when someone wants to do bridal, when someone is looking for a bridal makeup artist, your feed should speak for itself. Nobody is going to come and message you and ask. They're just going to look at your work and they will see, okay, this picture, this way it looks. She has done this person with a certain feature that will work for me also. So when you have a random feed going on, it will confuse them about what exactly you are doing. So it's important that you maintain a certain feed, you maintain the aestheticness in the feed. Fine. This is a very hard thing to do. Though it sounds easy, this is a very hard thing to do. Now, how do you balance this? Best way is to just go on Instagram, find someone who you really find as an inspiration, someone who you really like, some bridal artist who you really like. Go see their feed. Okay. Start noticing how it looks. Just scroll, just keep scrolling and see how the overall feed looks. And then you can notice how the entire structure is, how they're selecting certain pictures, which angle they're taking. Then you'll automatically know what exactly is happening. So start by balancing lighting. When you see her feed over here, this picture this is a gray, like black and white kind of a picture. And then this is very overly exposed. There's too much of light in this picture. And you see this one, this is too gray looking. So it should be either warm, like when you see this feed over here, it's kind of more on the warmer side. This is a little more on the cooler side. And this one, it does not have a certain story going on, right? So maintain your feed in that fashion that it looks quite uniform. By uniform, I'm not saying make everyone sit like attention and take one straight photo. I'm just saying like, make sure that they all look good together. Kind of like when you're eating, you're finding a balance, right? So even with the feed, you have to maintain a balance. Okay. Simplest way, find someone who you really inspire, and someone who inspires you, and go look at it and copy. Just copy factors like how they're doing the makeup, what pose, which angle they're taking, whether it's from top or is it like kind of side and all that stuff. See how they're maintaining that. See the clothing, see how the background is looking, see the lighting on their skin. Is it very warm? Is it very cool? Is their pictures overly edited? Is there too much of contrast, too less of contrast? See all those things. See how the camera is being kept, the videos, how they're kind of trying to make it. Try to mimic the same thing on your feed. The first few days when you just start an account, it's very confusing. So you can just do this, find someone who you really like, try to mimic a very similar structure on what you're actually doing. And that becomes a lot more easier for you. That is the first thing. And second thing, with time, you will automatically know what you're really liking. So you yourself will start becoming very experienced that you can easily identify what is your feed supposed to be like. And that becomes a lot more easier for you to handle. Okay. Next, after that, so we're almost done. And this is going to be your homework. So very easy, a very simple homework for you to do, just so that you understand what you're actually doing. Unless you practice, you wouldn't remember. Everything will just go out of your ear today night. So make sure that you're at least thinking and you're doing something like this. Right? So very simple look, a very basic look. You can do this with all the material what you're actually having, and just do the makeup and dress up just a basic sari, and you can wear basic jewelry, and just the background, just do it like her. She has a plant over here, so if possible have a plant, or just have a plain white background, white wall behind you, or a light colored wall behind you, and sit in front of it. Pose in the same angle. Where do you think her camera would have been?